Joel Embiid, he played only 39 games last year due to a left knee injury. He did return for the postseason. The Sixers lost 4-2 to the New York Knicks. This year, Embiid is looking for a little help pacing himself so that he can have a longer playoff run. Take a listen.
Taking my time, not pushing when you don't have to. But then again, I also let them know that I'm a competitor. I'm going to want to go out there and play. So I got to make sure, they got to make those decisions and, save me from myself. They know that if they have to punch me and slap me, take my stuff away from me not to get on that court, they're going to have to do it.
When I was in Philadelphia earlier this week, Joel Embiid was talking about that then as well. It feels like there's something different. He used the term deferring a little bit. He wants to empower, he said to me, other players on this roster so that he feels like he can get to that finish line. But Perk, are you buying what Embiid is selling here, a new approach this season?
Well, I do know this. He needs to buy into his own saying, and that's trusting the process, right? It's obvious that they have a plan in place, and long as Joel Embiid stick to the plan and sacrifice and maintain the weight loss and get to the postseason, because that's what's going to matter the most. He's not going to be judged on what he could do in the regular season. We already know what he could do, and that's be one of the best players, leading scorer in the regular season. So long as he follow the plan and trust the process, because the process is not over until you complete the mission, right? They didn't help build it, and you still trust in the process, but until you hang in the banner and get in the championship ring, the process is still going. You just have to trust it.
But he knows that, right? He said to our Tim Bontemps, Windy, over the summer.
Do he?
He said that, Perk. He said, I know that my legacy, it's not going to be judged on what I do in the regular season. The only thing that can change it is the postseason.
I get that, Malika. A lot of people say a lot of things, but you need to show us. You got to show us. You got to show us. We got to see it. We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I think there were times when Joel Embiid came into a season with his #1 goal being to win the MVP or to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yes.
I think what he's basically saying here is he's changed that mentality, and his goal, at least right now, is to be healthy in the playoffs. He got criticized by some people last year because at the end of the season, he was a little heavy and out of shape a little bit. I don't know if that was fair because he had been injured throughout the whole year on that knee. He wasn't able to keep his conditioning. The fact that he was able to come back and contribute in the playoffs at all, I think was remarkable. But he has addressed that. Look at him now. He is in better condition. He did play for the national team this summer, which I'm sure helped it, but I was with him there in Paris. He's lost a bunch of weight since that happened. So he is trying to do what he can, which is lose the weight and come into training camp talking about needing to pace himself throughout the year. Obviously, you are correct, Perk. The actions are going to matter more than the words, but at least he is saying the right words and taking the right off-season actions coming into this season.
Well, the one thing, too, is that he has Nick Nurse, who had Kawhi Leonard in that 2018-19 season, and Leonard was coming off a year in San Antonio where he didn't play, and they managed Kawhi Leonard's minutes and certainly his games during that year as far as not playing back-to-back, and they wound up going out to win a championship. But when you look at Joel Embiid's minutes the last 3 years, last year was the fewest minutes he played over the last 3 years. It's not like his workload is at 37, 38 minutes. It's at 33, 34 minutes per game here. So a lot of these have been somewhat freak injuries a little bit here. Last year was the knee, of course, so that's going to be the concern as far as managing, as far as where he is. And as Perk said, his weight has to be down for him to be healthy.
But he said, Perk, that he's coming in 20, 30 pounds lighter to this training camp.
I understand that, but as a player that dealt with weight issues and came into training camp in shape, you got to maintain it, Malika. You got to maintain it. Look, there's so many distractions throughout the course of the season, food-wise, right? Going to the restaurants after the game, on the plane, and those stewardesses, they coming by and they got the chocolate chip cookies for dessert. You got to have the discipline to turn it down. That was my Celtic days. When I got to Oklahoma City, we had snacks on the planes, but it was bananas, peanut butter sandwiches, all the good stuff that you're supposed to be putting in your body. Again, it's going to come down to a level of discipline. How many times, let me ask y'all this, How many times have we watched Luka come into training camp looking like skinny Luka as the season progressed? When he gets to the postseason, look like he done put those pounds back on, right? We've seen that. So that's the thing that needs to happen.
Listen, I'm not a professional athlete, but having traveled with the Nets during my time there, I know what Perk's talking about. I mean, I put on the, what do they call it, the freshman 15 during that season. As far as the ability, just because everything is in front of you, and it's the ability to discipline yourself.
Really, though, Joel Embiid, the way that he is speaking, being around the team, he's looking at this season differently. It really seems like he is ready to share the wealth here. They have Paul George. Tyrese Maxey takes a new step each of his 4 previous years in the league. We expect him to do it again. He's going to lean on those guys so that he can be healthy this season when it counts.